Okay, good evening, everybody. I hope you guys talk in English, so let's start in English. If you have any question, or you are struggling with something, just raise a question and I can talk in English instead. 35 years ago, I completed my doctorate degree in artificial intelligence. People were surprised, said, how come 35 years ago, and AI existed already? Oh yeah, it existed. I will show you something. Today, we are going to talk about the old school AI, the time that I did my AI, degree, and the standard education we are doing today. This is 35 years ago. 35 years ago, in this picture, I was sitting in my lab in Austin, Texas. I was doing computer vision research. And what I did was intelligent systems, helping people to detect the oil reserves from the very complex signals of seismic surveys. I did also intelligent system to look at the bombs in your luggage. You have to pass it through the scanner at the airport. Okay, but at that time, AI, wow, all right. I think that's a question, there's an issue with this. Can we get back? Can we get back? Okay. Oh, it's out of control. This is like my AI in old school. Okay. All right. Okay, let's come back to something we could control. 35 years ago, we believed that intelligence can be captured by the set of rules. We call it the rule sets, or the knowledge base that we are using to help people to do intelligent systems, with just a set of rule sets. The rules were if and then by logic. Like, if they want to detect the oil reserve from the seismic data, what they have to do is to find whether there are some horizon, and the slope of the horizons can tell me when it is, where it is, would be the oil reserve. That is if and then. If the slope is like this, then the probability to have the oil, the carbon deposit in that area is high. And that is what we do. Okay? So when we look at our standard education, I see there's a gosh. The gosh in there is that we are doing education with our standard education that we treat all the children, treat all the students like the way we did AI very long time ago. If and then. If you are 10 years old, then you must learn fractions. If you cannot complete your test within 60 minutes, then you are not smart enough. And this is exactly what we did 25 years ago, and we knew we would turn out. The same outdated logic applied for our today's education. In the last 30 years, I have lived through the crossroad of AI and education. I know one thing. Our standard education system is totally unfair because we work on the assumption that all the students have the same capabilities, the same capacity, the same pace of learning, and we ignore totally the educability of the people. In schools, we consider knowledge as the beam of light, and the teachers shed the light on the students. Okay, the same lecture, the same textbook, the same pace for 30 students or any number of students in the classrooms. it happened to me to have classes of 1,000 students, one light for everybody. We live in that illusion, and today we still do that with the same textbook for everybody in this country. We all the children in this country to follow just one textbook for everyone. That is something wrong. Because as a scientist, I know very well that the light is just the illusion of the color mixed up from the color of the rainbows. All the different colors of rainbow mixed up together to shed the white light. So every student, as educator, I know it, every student is just a filter. They learn differently. They don't learn the same way, despite the fact that we try to, to narrow down the distribution of the student in classrooms. So we have 30 students or 15 students with the same capabilities. We think that they who learn the same thing, same pace, same standard of education. But that's not right. We always suppose that, or asking whether the student is smart enough to understand the textbook, and not inversely. Can the textbook smart enough to understand the student? That is something we could do with AI today. Every student needs a different light. The visual learners need the red light of imagery. The logic learners need the blue light of structures. And then the story learners need the yellow light of narrative. When I teach students about the law of gravity, for example, when I talk to them about the story, how Newton discovered gravity, that is about the yellow light. Because students will be more interested in that, and from that they're more interested in how he found it, and then how he found it, and with what had come up after. While the logic learners, we need the blue light of the structure, the standard, the constant of the gravity makes things fall at the same time, at the same speed, not the same speed at the same time. Okay, the visual learners, we have to think about them differently. We ignore the educability of the students. And this is the heart of my talk. It's about the difference between learning ability and educability. Learning ability is about the speed, it's the engine, how fast you absorb information and spit it out back on a Tuesday morning exam. Well, we currently rank great and rewards. Time is a constant for all the students, and the learning outcomes are defined by the learning curve of each individual. In educability, it's about potential. It's about the capacity. It's the ability of the human soul to be shaped, to grow, and transform over time. And that is something we should nurture and celebrate. Time is not a constant for everybody, but the learning outcome is a constant for everyone. Time is valuable. We have ignored the low start for the low ceiling of knowledge. Think about this. If a flower doesn't bloom in the first week of spring, do we say it's broken? No. We check the soil, we check the water, we change the environment. If the students can perform at week 5 of the course, we normally give him or her a C and move on. We ignore totally the capacity the potential of the student to learn data with the different course, with a different approach, with the different methods. And this is something we could do today with AI, because AI can be the prism of the night. AI is the prism. With AI today, we can refract standardized curriculum into 30 different scholars for 30 different students. If we have n number of students, we can have that n number of different colors for those students. The paradigm is shift to, instead of saying, okay, is the student smart enough to understand the textbook? Now we have to shift into, is the textbook smart enough to understand all the students? As the prism of light, for the students who are born in the classrooms, AI becomes the temperature, pushing them into deeper waters. For the confused of the symbols of mathematics in the classroom, for example, AI becomes a storyteller, explaining calculus through the forest road or something more attractive. For the afraid of raising questions in the classrooms, AI becomes a patient listener. They can explain 100 times of the same concept without judgment. And then people will say that, hey, oh, if AI does all this, so what happened to the teacher? What happened to the human teacher? How do you think? The teacher will change his role to be the holder of the light. His or she will be the holder of the prism. When freed from the mechanical content delivery, the teachers return to their sacred task, nurturing the soul. And AI handles the content, the teachers handles the inspiration. We teacher, we become the coach to help the student to discover the knowledge. We don't teach them to learn A, B, C like we did 35 years ago. It's like AI of 35 years ago. It has to be like this, it has to be like that. Then, I can give you an A grade. In Vietnam, we have the deep tradition of honoring the teachers. We honor the teachers because they see our educability when we cannot see ourselves. They see our educability, they see our potential, and they can coach. And that's why in our tradition, we deeply respect them. Because they are the people who change our life, not there to punish us. In this new paradigm, my fellow educators, teachers, students, parents, we are here in this class. We have to stop standardized ability. There are no more straight line races for our students. We show the spectrum. We reveal who they can become. Okay. And we create the opportunity. The potential is universal. AI changed that. I saw that not today, but 15 years ago, when we decided to come back to Vietnam to contribute more to the education in Vietnam. And you are here with HCMUS, you know about the APCS program and how successful it is, right? And we know that, and we elevate the potential, and not only the ability, learning ability, okay? You here, in my student, you understand that. Okay? So the potential is universal. Opportunity is not. And when we move from learning ability to educability, we don't just create better students, we create a better world. We create a more human world. Thank you very much for your attention.